Israfil and Sawquills and things like that. You can do so much more, folks, and I implore you to, because that's how you win tournaments. That's how you win. You can get to the top cut, you know what I mean, by playing meta decks. But if you want to win, you have to truly understand the metagame, understand your decks, and what your plan is going into it. Don't just copy everybody else.
Hamza.
Look at this! Potwasher, Hamza, in his... he's got to be playing tilting.
Tilting.
It's got to be. I'm excited.
The tilting Hamza.
Yep.
Oh, there. Oh, boy. That is a hand.
This is awesome. So what I was talking about before is I still think that tilting at Windmills is the best Dragoncraft deck you can be playing because it wins the fastest. I've always been in favor of the Dragoncraft deck that can win faster.
God. Oh, no. This is like the complete opposite of what you want if you're Griffin.
Yeah.
Especially going up against Potwasher. Now, he is on the draw, so that slows him down a little bit. But he is going to be launching himself forward very, very quickly here.
Yeah. Double ramp into tilting when Griffin has no ramp here is going to be very rough for him to deal with.
And the key here is if Potwasher finds the turn to be able to play tilting kind of amidst little to no tempo, that is a nail in the coffin because every turn after tilting is dropped is just advantage for Potwasher.
He's going to be able to do it next turn. So, like, after he plays Fervor, Griffin has to play his Fervor, and then Potwasher can play tilting onto an empty field. Like, this is going to be a rough game for Griffin.
Oh, no.
However, Griffin does have the Lightning Blast. He could top deck that off of the Fervor or his next couple turns and take care of the tilting. So
the one card, it was chosen by Griffin.
This is the deck to play it against. I mean, that would be a perfect draw. Now, that doesn't give him any tempo, but it means he won't just automatically lose this game, which is great. Which is not what we want to see.
He's still behind by 2 play points.
There it is!
Wow. Okay, this is
is.
going to feel real bad for Potwasher because there's no reason not to play your tilting here.
Yeah, no, you definitely play it here. This is an empty board. This is the best position to do it. And now, Potwasher, of course, has seen the deck. He knows that these Lightning Blasts exist.
It's one of those situations where there's no playing around it, right?
If they have it, they have it. And you're not really losing tempo by playing it. You play this, they play Lightning Blast. You're like, okay.
Yeah, pass and pass.
Yeah.
Call it even. Let me see it.
But you know Potwasher was...
What?
Okay.
For why are we here?
Okay,
What are we doing?
So the one thing I can think of with this particular play is that next turn Potwasher is only going to be at 8 play points, which means Israfil can't come down. That's the big threat that you're worried about. And Sawquill doesn't really get big advantage here. We'll get in for 4, and then maybe you can play the Israfil alongside of it and get that extra 2 down. But not dealing with the tilting, it still just means that when are you now going to tempo against it?
Yeah. These cards need to remain on the board. So he gets 4 damage instead of getting rid of the tilting. Basically, that's a trade, right?
Yeah. And you know what? Like I said, I don't mind this because it's right before 9 play points. It's right before he can do anything like Bahamut, Israfil, anything crazy.
All right. What does Potwasher do in response here? How can he maximize?
Honestly, I still think that the Sawquill play is fine. It does utilize some of your resources. Honestly, he
don't
could
want to throw that into the Bane though.
Yeah, he could just Breath. I mean, you know, Breath of the Salamander. I don't see any reason why not. I mean, he still has tempo advantage.
Wow. Okay, he's gonna swing at the Pure Heart and then Blazing Breath.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a perfectly fine thing too. Like this is kind of what I was afraid of with Griffin. Like you don't get rid of this tilting, this thing's gonna start dealing insane damage to you so fast.
Yep. 2 + 6.
And now you've got to think, not only are you a Scyther down to deal with endgame threats, you're also a turn down, and you've taken that extra damage. And you have to Lightning Blast this.
Yep, there it is. Snap decision. Now it's gone. But I think the damage might have been done already.
Yeah, it definitely didn't help. For sure. Now, the real question is, can Potwasher actually defeat Griffin without the tilting at Windmills already being played?
Especially when your deck is optimized for Griffin to control out the game.
Right.
I don't know if tilting has a lot of those options. They probably bring Azitahakas and...
Well, that's the thing with tilting decks. They try to stay away from the Azitahakas because they don't get any advantage out of it, right?
Well, they do like playing the Dreadsea combo still, right?
Sure, sure.
So there might be, probably not 3 of them. Probably, maybe not even 2, maybe just 1. But
I really want to see, this is exactly what I think is going to happen. I think Potwasher in the next 2 turns is going to draw Ouroboros, and that's going to be his end game plan. That's like the one Dragoncraft deck that I really like still having at the top end of a Tilting at Windmills deck. And then Griffin's going to draw a second Lightning Blast, and it's going to be pretty nice that he has both of those
the
in
Lightning
his deck.
Blast, he brought 2, 1 for tilting, 1 for you, Ouroboros.
That's right.
And Griffin is going to be laughing his way to the bank.
Where we saw them fail him in the winner's side,
Yeah.
you can see them propel, this win against Potwasher. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Interesting. Definitely a big hit to the deck's strategy to be able to remove the tilting and windmills.
I really like the Hamsa edition, though, especially if you think you're playing against a lot of other Dragoncraft decks. It allows you to play the tilting at windmills
And the Hamsa.
and the Hamsa in the singular turn. And if your opponent has anything huge in play, that's just lights out.
Yeah. Now this is tough, right? Both of you are at 10 play points now, and you're holding on to pretty heavy cards.
You
When
just gotta
you're-
play it, Nisrafil, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So this starts the war,
Yep,
right?
You have to start the war. If you just sit there, especially when you already have 2 behind. Okay. Well, I was going to say that Potwasher was ahead in this race. He's still definitely not in a bad place, but now that Griffin has drawn a second Bahamut, it's a little bit more skewed
Ooh.
in Griffin's favor.
Maybe you could play the Hamsa and the Scyther?
No, you got to save the Hamsa for the tilting. I feel
Yeah.
like you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise you're just not going to get a very good use out
You're
of
never
it.
going to use tilting ever in
Yeah.
the game otherwise. Ooh, the Zeus as well. This is good. This is good. Let's see it one more time.
Yep, more Bahamuts, please. This could be a Scyther. No, still going to be a Bahamut play. You want to utilize Scyther when you can also get use out of some other cards in your hand on the same turn. I mean, he could do it this turn. I just don't like it. Save the Sahaquill for like a Zeus.
I like that Potwasher's thinking about the turn, just trying to make sure it is the option to go back and forth like this. I feel like in 90% of the situations it is. But
you
there are
you
some
just remove the
considerations.
Bahamuts from the decks and
Yeah.
you play without them essentially in this matchup.
Ooh.
There we go.
Oh.
And I like that Zeus can actually
Yeah.
run into Bahamut now and not
Yep.
die anymore. It's really nice.
Survives with 1, and of course with Sahaquill, returning that to hand basically replenishes all that lost defense.
Yep. And I really think that Griffin, if he starts being aggressive come this turn, it's going to be very good for
there's
him.
Area in this deck.
Area at Windmills. This is some spicy business that Potwasher's got going on right now.
Oh boy. It's animated to Area is one of the most beautiful animated cards.
Now, let's be fair to Griffin's choice of Lightning Blast. Had he not had Lightning Blast this game,
I think this would be
it
over.
would already be over.
Yeah, this game would definitely be over, but having that Lightning Blast and, you know, ultimately his decision to not immediately Lightning Blast the tilting at the windmills so far has not really come into play.
It hasn't come into play. I still don't think it was correct, mainly because he used a Scyther to try to tempo with it, and he probably wouldn't mind having that Scyther right now.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. Dealing 4 damage with it, as you can see, did absolutely nothing to Potwasher, but having the option later in the game, I think, would have been a little bit more potent.
Plays the Isherfield, gets another 2, and that's going to slowly chip away at Griffin's life total. But there is options to continue kind of Sahaquilling on the
so
side
good.
of Griffin.
So good. You have Saha Zeus. Just like start getting some. Come on, Griffin. I wanna see some damage.
It's interesting playing this line. Okay, he is going to go for the removal as well.
This is not a bad play. It doesn't deal
Yeah.
as much damage, okay? But still not bad. Keeping the board clear. Now, the real question is, if you are playing something like Area in your deck, that does lean me to maybe you're probably playing Azidahaka as well, because it's how you can get the most use out of it, especially with the Queen of the Dreadsea combo.
Well, you've definitely chunked your opponent down to a good life total for it. So, more Bahamut.
Just for flavor. Now, this is an awkward turn. Do you play the Scyther here? Do you play a Hamsa and evolve it? Do you play an Ariat here? Because you don't want to give up. You don't really want to give up the Scyther here.
The spell options are a little inefficient too.
You can't play Ariat. It's gotta be either double burn spell, Scyther, or an evolved Hamsa.
I would lean towards the double burn. It's tough because, again, the Zeus survives the Bahamut trade. So Bahamut's not really the power card, you know?
Yep.
It certainly is effective, but in this scenario, it's not that great.
Here
And
we
the next Lightning Blast is there to guarantee that any Ouroboros or tilting at the windmills that next comes out is again going to be shut down. And the fact that this kind of Sahakwill Zeus play is going on right now means that it's very likely that the threat will actually be left on board too.
As a quick aside, I just want to remind everybody, look at Griffin, sitting on his couch, probably in his living room, okay? This is a game where you can play from your home, sitting on your couch,
Yeah?
and you can win $6,500.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
That's pretty cool, guys.
You know how I play Shadowverse? In my PJs.
Okay.
On my bed.
All right. I was thinking maybe in like a fish tank with those things eating the things off your skin or whatever to keep you clean. I don't know anymore.
I'd be real clean.
I just you know that's a good thing. You can play in these tournaments. They don't cost you anything. You get prizes all the way up to and including $6,500. Emblems, flares, everything. It's pretty dope.
This is tough. I think you have to burn.
Burn?
You have to use your spells.
Well, you could play Sybil double burn here. It looks like that's what Griffin's going to do.
Yeah.
He could technically evolve this, but I don't think that's a very good evolve.
I think you need to value your evolution ores very highly in this matchup, especially when you absolutely need to make sure you have the most reach when the opportunity arises.
Yep. And at the moment, it looks like Potwasher's kind of running out of options. He has that lone Bahamut left, but that's it.
Yeah. I like this Sybil drop for the reason of the constant healing forces out one of those power options, either the Scyther or the Bahamut, right?
Not only that, it could have stopped some kind of a lethal combo, because as we know, Ozzy Dahaka plus Ariat, you know what I mean, can only deal so much damage. Now, in this particular function, Ozzy Dahaka could do it, but if he knows Ozzy Dahaka's not there, then what else are you left with? You're left with, like, Zeus combos. You can't really get to 14. That's tough.
Yeah. So Potwasher has to be thinking, and I think card draw is where you want to be going.
Okay, Sybil to match Sybil's not too bad. But again, the only way he has to remove stuff now is either Scyther or an Evolution Orb.
I'm leaning towards the Scyther. I think you save the Evolution Orb as well.
That feels really rough. That feels really rough. Potwasher knows Griffin has a Zeus in hand.
Yeah.
So he has to keep an answer for that. He does have the Bahamut. So yeah, maybe Scyther is the best option. You play Sybil Scyther, go back up to 20, put down a threat that has to be dealt with. Well, it doesn't have to be dealt with, but this is not what this matchup is about, is leaving your opponent with threats in play.
The big thing about Hamza here is Zeus kind of precedes his own. His damage is less than his defense, right? So Hamza can't even do very well in that situation.
He leaves it. And I think this is going to pull out an Evolution Orb from Griffin here. I like this a lot, actually. Heals him up a bunch. He's going to go all the way back to 20.
Yeah. I would even just swing the Israfil in. Yeah, maintain the Sybil.
Yep.
And this is a big tempo swing. I like that usage of the Evolution Orb. This is going to force a big resource out of Potwasher. Good thing he pulled that second Scyther, because he's absolutely going to need it now.
Yep, and this is a slugfest. This is about as slugfest as it gets with a regular Dragon deck versus a Tilting and Windmills one. Both of them not really having all the combo pieces they need. We see Griffin here with Queen of the Dreadsea, but not really a Dragoncraft card he can play alongside one of these Zeuses. And Potwasher has an Ariat, but nothing to do with it.
Bahamut's down now, and this is kind of the second calling, right? Right now we're going to be trading the last of the resources here.
Honestly, I think there are a couple good plays here. I mean, he could just Zeus go face. He could draw with Oracle and then have Scyther to fall back on, but then he loses tempo by doing that.
If he does Zeus face, he can only reach 7 damage on the next turn, so it's 5 plus 7, which is not enough to do the health total that is on Potwasher's side, so I think that's not the option.
Yeah, I like this too. Just more card draw options.
Okay. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And Potwasher knows that Griffin still has a Bahamut, because that's one thing that you always do when you play in Dragoncraft mirrors, folks. And I'll let you know this as true as I can. count the number of Scythers and the number of Bahamut's your opponent has played always in the Dragoncraft mirror, because that will make your decisions so much easier. Granted, it feels like you never run out because you really don't.
Yeah.
But as soon as you know they are out, then you can go in.
Those multiple healing turns for the Sybil on the side of Griffin were absolutely huge. Being back at 20 at this stage in the game is not what Potwasher wants to see.
Honestly, I wouldn't even mind just a Scyther poke face here. Maybe even a Scyther area poke face here. It gets 2 threats in play that you don't really care are gone. You still have a backup Scyther.
And options are options at this point, right? Like, Griffin is going to have to respond to it with a big card anyways.
Yeah, like, playing a Zeus into this doesn't feel as good as it did before. He didn't choose to play the area, that's fine. Maybe he needs to save that for combo. Maybe he just needs that to end the game, which is perfectly fine.
Answers with the Bahamut, and this is good for Potwasher.
Got rid of that last Bahamut, so baited it out. And gets to play a tilting
but the
here.
Lightning Blast is there.
Ooh.
2 times. I got 2 of them.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly 1 for 1 for your tilting at the windmills cards.
So good. Because, you know, that's like how many
Hamza is there. Actually, is there? Oh no, Hamza's a neutral. If you could play the Hamza in the air,
yeah. Fortunately, can't do that. Yeah, but like that's kind of how you decide how many Lightning Blast or tech cards to run. Like how many tilting at windmills and or Ouroboros and or whatever else the case may be. Do Dragoncraft decks play? 2? Cool. I'll put 2 in. Hopefully I can answer both. And in this case he can. And he drew a Rahab this turn. Great draw. Fantastic draw.
You can put that together with a Lightning Blast and do the Lightning Blast Rahab. And that'll feel very, very good. I think you absolutely remove the tilting on the windmills.
Oh,
just
yeah.
look at how much
100%.
tempo it just punched a hole in Potwasher's plan. Now, if only there was some way to grab cards back from the banished realm.
No. No. Get out of here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now, Rahab is definitely a card I've been missing in Dragoncraft lists. Because of Dragon Summoner, it's really hard to include that card because you don't really ever want to tutor for it. You want to tutor for your ramp spells like Sybil, Ayala, things like that. But Rahab is such a good late-game card in fighting these matchups. Why I say that? Because sometimes you just need a cheap ward alongside whatever else you're doing so you don't die to some random combo.
And it's very different than Grimner, right? That 3 defense on Grimner is actually a very big difference than the 5 defense that Rahab offers.
Absolutely.
Okay, the healing here is going to be good for Potwasher. He's going to be feeling nice and stable, forcing out more options from Griffin.
Now, this is a weird turn. I feel like the best play is still Zeus, go face with everything. But that's kind of scary, obviously. He might run this into the Sybil. Will do.
Takes the swing. And now there's 2 wards on the table.
No Bahamut's left for either player.
I think you have to draw. There's not really much that can handle this.
Yeah, there's not much else you can do with this hand. You either draw or you play Queen of the Dread Sea and play one other card, which is not good. Yeah, this is looking really rough for Potwasher. Those Lightning Blasts.
Yeah, they came in huge, really. You still have Hamza Evolve, which can handle the Zeus. But the Rahab remains.
Yeah, let's draw a card first, see where it gets you. Another Scyther. I believe that's the 3rd Scyther from Potwasher as well.
Would you play Hamza and then Scyther? And then evolve over the Rahab?
It depends on if he has a 3rd tilting at windmills or not. If he doesn't, I feel like, yep, okay.
Yeah,
so he does
this
not.
is probably the option, yeah.
Time to say goodbye.
Maybe he even Scythers this. Rahab, I don't like it, but maybe he's... Oh, okay. He's going for value play here instead. Don't know if I like using his last evolution orb that way, but...
Yeah, I think this is going to... it'll be tough. He doesn't have an evolve to react. PR Singer is not necessarily the strongest card.
No.
That Zeus is going to be pretty sturdy.
I think this game's just over. I think you just Blazing Breath, play Israfil, and then you just win the game. I think as soon as that hits and Potwasher doesn't top deck something, Potwasher's just gonna tap out. You can't survive. Once you're the Dragoncraft player that allowed your opponent to keep one of their monsters in play for a turn, you pretty much already lost, especially with no Bahamut's left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there is an answer back, Israfil. So that is something.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting, too. If he actually tries to go past the Israfil and ignore it, the area actually makes that so dangerous. That's 10 and 10. That's lethal if you leave the Israfil up.
Yes, it is.
I don't know if Griffin needs to be watching the deck list very, very carefully here.
Okay, going for a draw. Not what he wanted to see here.
I think you have to play the Israfil, right?
Yep. I think the consideration might be to play Queen of the Dread Sea, but I think you're right. I think saving it for a potential win with an Ariat.
Yeah. It's going to be tough because I can't imagine that Griffin won't play the Zeus.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I feel like next turn, whatever Griffin draws, he's just going to Queen of the Dread Sea into Zeus into something. Unless it's, you know, another Israfil or Zeus or something like that. But I think this is the perfect time because you don't need the combo at this point. You just need to win. Your opponent has no Bahamut's left. You just want to push your advantage.
All right. Well, this is it. I think this was the only option, really, that makes sense.
Yep. Put yourself back up to 20. Both staring down some Israfils. Yeah, and I think that's it. Queen of the Dread Sea, Zeus, Draconic Fervor. Draw some more cards. Easy peasy.
There's Queen of the Dread Sea, and the Zeus is going to come down alongside that, and that actually prevents a lot on the side of Potwasher. The area Israfil would have been huge.
Yep. And even keeping the follower over the card draw. Respect.
Yep. Oh.
I think this is lights out. Potwasher with one more draw. That is not going to do it.
That's not what he needs, and Griffin knows it. And that was only the first game.
That was only the first game. Absolutely. We got down to 8 cards left in Griffin's deck, down to 4 cards left in Potwasher's deck.
He lives another turn.
Yeah, okay, he's gonna keep it. He's gonna keep pushing it. Never mind. There it is.
Man.
There it is.
You know, not that surprising when you have 7 cards left in your deck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're bound to draw something that you need at the end of the game, and Griffin played that game very well.
I like it.
Lightning Blast coming into full force that game.
I love it. It just goes to show a lot of people, I think, you know, Lightning Blast is tough, but when you're fighting up against an option, you know, very similar to something like Polyphonic Roar, right? When you're fighting against options you can trade 1-for-1 with, not so good when you're talking about against Vengeance Blood, but it is very good when you're talking about options like Tilting at the Windmills.
Or it can even be another answer to Bahamut or whatever else you need to in the late game. It's just a good option to have, of course not in what we've seen it so far. And now Shadowcraft. Again, Dragoncraft is very vulnerable in general.
Griffin is worried. He's worried for his mulligan.
Oh,
man.
That is rough. Now, what I was going to say is Dragoncraft is still vulnerable to on-curve tempo plays. It can just brick out. But with a hand like that, Griffin's going to give Potwasher potentially plenty of time to ramp into his late game.
He needs to live off the top here.
Now, this matchup, of course, we've seen in and out for a long, long time. And this matchup continues to change. I mean, it continues to change on, you know, whether Shadowcraft or Dragoncraft is better on the other side. I think at the moment Dragoncraft is slightly better, but only when it's on the play. I think this particular matchup very specifically is play dependent, because if you can actually just play on-curve Shadowcraft, like just 2-drop into Skull Ring, into Prince Catacomb, into whatever, you will just win the game. But if Dragoncraft gets the first ramp spell and they get to their Sybil faster and things like that, I really feel like Shadow just doesn't have enough oomph to finish the game fast enough before Dragon just takes over.
Allows the Isla to be removed by the Lurching Corpse and ramping in the meantime with the Oracle. And like you said, it's going to be important. I think by this next turn, Potwasher playing the Fervor here is probably going to cement that, because the only opportunity for Griffin to fight back is 2 damage on the Belinus.
Yeah, which is non-threatening. No tilting at windmills yet for Potwasher. And generally speaking, the longer the game goes, the harder it is to find a turn where you can put it down.
Yeah. Just because the impact of your opponent's turns grows.
Yeah. Absolutely. But if you ever can find a turn, it's about as insane as it can get against Shadowcraft, because it turns all of your Israfils into just crazy cannons. You just Israfil, Bahamut, and then you just win the game.
And just constantly board wiping the tokens.
Yep. So it looks like Potwasher going to have to play an honest game as of right now. By honest, I mean he's already at 10 play points. you know.
Hey, your opponent is at 5.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, you've doubled the tempo that your opponent has. Pretty nice.
So I think it's tough against Shadow to play out options like Bahamut at this point, just because they do have things like Lurching Corpse, Demon Eater, and stuff like that. How do you best utilize the fact that you're so ahead on play points?
I honestly would say the opposite of what you were talking about. Yes, but you've already seen a Lurching Corpse hit the bin.
So you're just gonna play on the numbers.
I just play on the numbers. Honestly speaking, like this turn, I just go all in Bahamut, and just Bahamut. If you don't have the immediate answer to it, I'm just gonna beat you in 2 turns. Like like when you're Dragoncraft and you're this far ahead, just press it. You know what I mean? What I see every, and I mean every Dragoncraft player do, is once they get ahead in play points, they just sit there. Let their opponent get back all the way, climb all the way back out of the play point deficit, and never really make a big impact. Like you see Potwasher, he's drawing more cards for more options instead of going in with something like a Bahamut, where he can just then follow up with double Breath of the Salamander. He already has a Saw-Quill for an Israfil being drawn. You know what I mean? There's no reason to not just go in.
Yeah.
But
has it tilting at the windmills? Can you find the time to play that?
I think you just play it now. Yeah.
Play it in conjunction with some of that Salamander.
Yep. Now, it doesn't so much matter that he didn't play the Bahamut because he did find the tilting at windmill. So he's going to get the damage in with that Bahamut. And now he doesn't need any other cards along with it to get that damage in, which is really nice.
Oh, nice. Fall from Grace.
Fall from Grace. Yet another tech card from Griffin.
Yeah.
Dealing with these tilting at windmills.
I like it. That's so important to have. I don't know what read Griffin had on the meta. I don't know what the earlier rounds for the bracket was like and if all the tilting decks were there. But certainly, I mean, it feels like this was specifically text for Potwasher, right? Because we already know our opponents on the winner side of the bracket don't have tilting at windmills as their deck.
Right.
Tilting at windmills.
It's also interesting that he chose Fall from Grace in Shadowcraft while he chose Lightning Blast and Dragoncraft. Obviously, Dragoncraft, you get to your play points higher, but it still does cost more in a singular turn. You can't do as much with it. But the second tilting, is he going to draw another Fall from Grace is the question. He's done it before. With the Lightning Blast, can he do it with Fall from Grace? Is he even playing to?
The big thing here is I feel like... Okay, definitely Bahamut.
Oh, yeah.
He only has like a turn left before Aisha close. Oh, that is a fill.
That's insane, too.
Absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
I still think... Oh, okay.
What?
Throw away the Bahamut? No, he threw away the Israfil.
Is this a lethal setup?
Oh yeah, because it's because the Queen gets the Storm as well.
Well, the Queen gets Storm.
So
oh yeah, but you
will
play
get Storm
Bahamut
and the Scyther. So this is the line of play. You have to make sure you swing with the Dread Sea first, because the Bahamut will remove itself.
But this is what I'm talking about. Tilting at windmills just closes the door. Closes it. And it's awesome that Potwasher has played this deck enough to know exactly when he can snipe that lethal. That was a great turn.
Yeah. That is the picture-perfect Bahamut turn, because it goes past... the only thing that stops it is if there's Ward, then you kind of have to give up the Dread Sea damage. Right? Because the Dread Sea will have to swing with the Ward, but the Bahamut will clear everything out anyway, so you just kind of forego that.
Or technically you can play the Scyther and get the Queen of the Dread Sea damage in and then play the Bahamut, and then so you're only missing out on 2 in that case.
That's right.
He had exact lethal that time with nothing to stop him.
I think the maximum that you do is with Azidahaka. So you Dread Sea, Azidahaka, and Bahamut, and then you play out that turn.
Of course.
Is typically what that combo looks like. But with the Scyther, like you mentioned, there's a lot of utility that comes with that.
I'm still very confused by this Sector card. Okay, I know I've seen it. I've seen it in multiple decks. Like, I get the benefits of the card. I still don't know why it's a choice.
Cards that display beautiful, well-constructed abs are always cards that are highly effective in this video game.
We do have King Elephant. That's fair.
Yeah.
Sector, I don't know.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe it.
This guy is on a workout routine. You don't just get those abs.
That's true. You do have to work for them. Maybe it does prove that you have been putting work into your deck.
Yeah.
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 You need to display your deck's abs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at it. Already standing strong here. Here and now. Not to be thwarted by anybody except for a little girl.
Right. Little Soul Squasher is like, hey, come jump into the river with me.
Oh boy. Little Soul Squasher is probably devious enough to do that.
Yeah.
This is interesting. We kind of, you know, we're talking about this deck, Impartial Strix, Neutral Forest, how well can it stand up against the other decks that are being fielded here? I think this is a pretty good scenario. You have a Staircase popping, which is options, which is always what Neutral Forest wants. Already have the Beauty and the Beast in hand. And again, like you were mentioning, just the high stat, huge followers that this
It's just
deck
hard to deal
plays.
with. I mean, when you think about Shadowcraft, like, what are the ways it can deal with a 5/5 even on an evolution turn? It can't. It has Necro Assassins and Lurching Corpses.
And this is all just about turn after turn after turn playing big cards.
Now, unfortunately for Potwasher, that Staircase isn't popping anytime soon, and he doesn't really have a play this turn.
You could
You could
try
Elf Twins Assault.
to Elf Twin Assault. It could snipe the 2 skeletons.
It could.
I believe it does a grand total of 1.
Yep. Well, you could up the odds, and attack the Andrialphus and just pray, or just not even do anything.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I guess it's not the danger turns just yet.
I don't know. I guess you are saving it for a Staircase turn, but that's rough. That's rough. That's still not happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
And if I'm Griffin and I saw Potwasher just make a defensive play like attacking with a Strix into my Andrialphus, I am just ignoring that Strix and going all out damage here.
Yeah.
And by that I mean even playing the Prince and locking my board up.
Interesting.
With Evolution Orbs, you can unlock your board. It is possible.
With Strix,
Yeah.
well, with Strix being able to swing in defensively, it's going to assist the Beauty and the Beast, right?
I guess I would have. You know what I would have done this turn? I would have played Prince, Catacomb. I would have evolved the Lurching Corpse and attacked face with everything. I feel like not evolving this turn is keeping the pace of the game slow, and I think at this point, especially after a turn 5 was passed, you just push. You don't let your opponent get back into this game by not pushing as much as you possibly can. Like, imagine an evolved Lurching Corpse here. I talk about unused Evolution Orbs all the time, and I feel like if you would have evolved that Lurching Corpse, got 2 extra damage in this turn, possible 2 extra damage next turn, and the turn after, you're just closing the door so much faster than using that Evolution Orb unused. Now, I get the appeal of saving it because you do have to deal with Beauty and the Beast possibly. However, when your opponent skips turn 5 and their Staircase still has not popped yet, I'm just taking full advantage of that.
Yeah. That ping made this really complicated. I think he might have wanted to swing the Strix first.
Ooh!
Oh my god!
That was spicy.
That was the split right there. He just bowled the split.
Yeah.
He
And
just
now,
hit the pins on the end.
without Prince Catacomb gumming up this board, that Strix was able to go face, and now the tempo's right back in line with each other. So
Potwasher had to use one of the Evolution Orbs on a not Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
So that's a little rough. Not the worst, because as we see, this list probably is just playing the Beauty and the Beast as just strong cards.
You see, I'm only getting stronger. Perfect. I was just getting
Wow.
bored.
He rolls his R's.
Perfect.
Wow. It's almost like the Skeleton Prince was right here with me. Oh my gosh.
Yes, well, you know,
That's a
when
lot of
I have to make money, I sometimes moonlight as a Skeleton Prince. Okay.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Halloween parties, you know, birthday parties, you know.
We all have bones in our bodies, so
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. I just wear a crown, wear my cool outfit. You know, it feels pretty good to wear a crown and a robe. You know, even if you're not royalty, and just believing you are, it still feels pretty good. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever worn a robe and like had a scepter in your hand and like worn a crown.
No.
It feels good.
Let me know where I can go and try that.
Yeah. See, that's something that you can do that I feel like is not too sketchy. Going to a place and sitting in a tank and getting fish to eat stuff off my body.
What? That's just general hygiene.
It's super sketchy. I don't know. Are they like descendants of piranhas? Like, are they gonna like actually hurt me? I'm scared.
I like this turn, and I think Hector can be very strong here.
On the warfield, a
Avoid
Hector's
the 4
still
damage.
great. Hector's still in a great spot in this metagame.
Yep, there's the carrot. I would be conservative with the orbs. Okay, I guess you have an Aaron.
really does not want to give this Hector up, but there is an Evolution Orb left for Griffin, so kind of an interesting play here.
There is a response in the air and enhance, which will be very good. And again, it's Potwasher is continuing to build on this idea that his deck is all about just playing into the late game and just big cards, big cards, big cards.
And if I'm not mistaken, you can transform Beauty and the Beast.
I believe so, yes.
So these tech cards are, like you said, built just for Potwasher.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I've got answers to all your tilting at windmills, your Beauty and the Beast. It's not nothing.
Booty and the Beast. So that's definitely not the play this turn. Needs to find some way to, yep. Okay, and probably actually going to use the Evolution Orb immediately.
This ends here.
All right, and trying to just keep pace to get to the end of the game is Potwasher here with his Aaron play. Gain some defense back. Try to push to the end terms to where Bahamut can become live, and possibly his Beauty and the Beast can start to finish this game out.
All right. Zombie party, and this is one spooky board. Got 2 skeletons and a bunch of zombies. And you know what they're talking about? The zombies are talking about, hey man, what's it like being a skeleton? Should we just get rid of the flesh, or what?
That is, they do look like they're pondering a question. They're
Yeah.
like, hey man, I got something to ask you.
What's it like?
Yeah, yeah. What do I want skin back? I don't know. What? I mean, skin has stuff that grows on it. You know what I mean? When you're just bones.
Wow, if there was an Ector, this game was just done.
Yeah, still no Ector in the hand of Griffin to finish this game out.
Is there a way for him to draw a card?
Does he have a Demon Eater? He does not. He does have Aisha set up for next turn anyway, so I think he's fine with his position. I don't think he has to worry too much.
I don't even know what the best way to go about this turn is because it's so strange. Aisha, you're right. Aisha on the next turn
Yeah,
is
honestly, I don't mind playing super defensive. You already have the win in hand. Just clean your opponent's board out, have no chance to lose.
Yeah, there's only a card. Is he at 9 in hand? He's at 8.
Yeah.
There's only a few cards that can stop this. Oh my god.
That's it, but you have to
Oh,
Bahamut
he
just
plays
to
Bahamut,
save
yep.
yourself, and that's going to be it.
Here it comes, the double thwap.
And Griffin with his tech cards is going
Wow.
to make it to the next.
That is very, very painful
phase.
for somebody like Potwasher. I think, especially think about decks as hard as he does, to be defeated by somebody who is kind of
Out-teched him.
out-teched him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Griffin is playing real cool in the
I
loser's
guarantee
bracket.
you when Potwasher built his decks for today, the first thing on his mind wasn't, I'm going to lose to a deck that's playing 2 Lightning Blasts in it.
Yeah, and get fall from Graced.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Griffin.
2
thumbs
thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Takes down Potwasher. Not an easy opponent at all.